Alright, from seeing the name of this video's title, you probably thinking like, what is finna be said here, or what can sway me to believe this? Okay, trust me, every time I say something like this, or bring something to the light, or bring something, illuminate it and bring it to you, it's, I don't just say it just because I'm in my feelings. I say it because it's given to me through the ancestors. So, alright, so it's been 50 years already since the band of gypsies played in New York City. They were playing on the New Year's Day. I have the Band of Gypsies at the Fillmore East CD. I had that for like close to over a year, but like something recently just told me to put the CD back in today, like 2 days ago. So, well, Buddy Miles, of course, was on the drums. Billy Cox was on bass. So these aren't the original members to the Jimi Hendrix band. Everybody should know that. So originally it was the Experience. So Noel Redding was the original bass player, and him and Jimmy was really having a lot of falling out around the time of a Lady Electric Land. Around that time. So on some songs, like one or two songs, I believe Jimmy he played bass, on Electric Ladyland, on like one or two songs, I believe. But they were having like a little bit of falling out. So he wanted to bring in like some people he knew, and like he was like changing up a lot of things. If you see like a lot of his later albums that came out after he passed, it was a lot of him doing a lot of finding his sound. So the Band of Gypsies, they played at the Fillmore on New Year's Day, January the 1st, 1970. So 1970 up until 2020, that's 50 years, is the 50-year anniversary. And it's funny, it's coming to me now. I had this album way back, like almost a year and a half ago, but something told me to put it back in again. I'll start listening. So next thing I know, when the ancestors talk, I listen. They tell me to do something, I listen. So next thing I know, I'm listening and let me get to the situation. So Billy Cox knows Jimi Hendrix through the military. They were Jimi Hendrix was a parachute guy. Buddy Miles, he knew him, but like he knew him a little later. So one thing I noticed when they had the Band of Gypsies, and then they go to and they have that big show at Woodstock. Now I noticed Buddy Miles isn't playing drums. The original drummer, that drummer that was there from the Experience, he was actually chosen through a flip of a coin. It was him or another drummer, and that drummer that's from the Experience, he's actually more of a jazz scat player. So he had a good swing to his drumming. So it's not more formidable. It's more like, so jazz you can pick up on anything pretty much. So it wasn't more it was like it has like music, it has a swing to it. The swing it does not right on the count, but it'll catch the count whenever it pleases. It'll come back to the note if it needs to. Okay, that's what it pretty much means. So I know this is people thinking this is an outlandish accusation, but it will make sense. Okay. Wow. 70. Anyway, everything happens for a reason. Okay. All right. So we go to the wood. Like, we gotta think, why was not Buddy Miles playing drums at Woodstock? But you had Billy Cox and you had another, I forget the guy's name. He was on percussion. He was playing with the band at Woodstock. I forgot the guy's name. If you get the Jimi Hendrix DVD, he's actually on there talking about how he had big plans to put everything together with the new band he had. So, and everything kind of dismantled once he was back in England and he was killed, because the lady that was with him gave him sleeping pills and he ended up throwing up in his sleep. Okay, it's crazy. Same thing happened to Khalid Muhammad. He threw up in his sleep, and you know, he had an aneurysm. But let's get back on subject. I don't want to lose anybody. Like, who's Khalid Muhammad? Look him up. He was killed too by the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers, you know, was the new Black Panthers, and they was pretty much paid to kill him. But back to where Jimi Hendrix and Buddy Miles, you know, so with the Band of Gypsies. So remember, if you go and watch any footage, they're all three playing together. Buddy Miles, Billy Cox, and Jimi Hendrix. They're playing together. So now I was listening to it again. When I first heard the album, like this, it was the first day. I think they had played like 2 or 3 days in New York because they was giving the crowd something new. It was more of a bluesy sound. So, and still some more rock too also to it. But you know, rock is rock and roll is more of a sped up version of a blues sound. You know, because everybody know melanated people created blues and rock and roll. So you just take off the roll and just put rock, and then you have all this other stuff that's created from. Okay, so I don't want anybody to have any confusion about what I'm talking about. So everybody should know what I'm talking about. All right, so let me get to the proof. So I'm trying to do it to the point where there's no real sounds, but the talking, I don't know if YouTube will let me do it all the way through. I hope so. So if it won't let me do it, it will cut out the video. But if it's going right through with just the talking, it's no music. It's just him talking, and you're gonna hear Buddy Miles hitting his snare while he's talking. So now think about this. What if they had did something to him to the point where he was under let me see, like, you know, have you seen the movie Get Out, when he gave him some tea or something, and she had kind of hypnotized him, and then he went to a sunken place. And one thing I noticed, I never really heard Jimi Hendrix use that accent too much on the Clavitt show. I got the name, the fool's guy's name. He has his own TV show. Jimmy uses this English accent. Like I was like, I heard this accent before. I can't really put up the footage right now because, of course, I'm out and about. So, but anyway, it just was telling me just to put it out right now. So, okay. All right. So the thing is, here it goes. I'm gonna give you the audio of Jimmy's talking, and you're gonna hear the snare getting hit. So I'm thinking, why is the snare getting hit while Jimmy's talking? So it's like, you know, when she was hitting the cup while she was actually hypnotizing him with the tea. While she was drinking the tea, those sounds is like bells. Bing, bing, the bells, same thing. So he was hitting the snare while he was talking. And you're gonna hear his voice kind of twitch a little bit. It's the first section. You're not gonna hear him speak with an English accent. The second portion I'm gonna play for you. And I'm gonna come back in between. You're gonna know the difference. The second portion, you're gonna hear it. He gonna have like an English accent where it comes in at. Okay? All right. Pay attention. Stick with me. I'm gonna play it once, and I'm gonna play it again. Then I'm gonna explain. Then I'm gonna go to the second portion, and then I'm gonna end it. All right? Here we go.
That first thing was called Paper and Blaze, if you want to call it that. That other thing was called I don't know, I forgot. We already did. Anyway, we like to do a slow blues here. If it's all right, we like to do a thing called Lonesome Train. We can call it that. Right. That other thing was called I don't know, I forgot. We already did it. Anyway, we like to do a slow blues here. If it's all right, we like to do a thing called Lonesome Train. We can call it that. Right.
So you can hear him hitting the snare a couple times. Later on throughout the whole concert, this is the first night, of course. You know, they had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know I should be right, they had 3 nights they played. So this is the first night on New Year's Eve. He was like, hey, New Year's, Happy New Year's. Yeah, Happy New Year's. So you hear him say that on the concert. He actually, so anyway, back to what I was saying. So when you hear that, the snare is almost like when the lady was hitting the teacup with the spoon. She, you know, when she was actually hypnotizing him another way without the whole watch in front of your face. So the snare, he could hear when the second snare pops, he immediately quits what he's saying. Like, it's almost like, you know, if you hit on a dog so much and you put your hand up high and the dog kind of flinches low, that's when you know the dog getting beat or something. When, like, the snare the second time got hit, he immediately stops talking and then goes on. It's a third pop that goes again, and he goes right into the song. So throughout the concert, you're gonna hear him talking very fast, introducing the next song and going into it. So I noticed, you know, that that Buddy Miles wasn't on at Woodstock with them. That was later on after the New Year's show. But Billy Cox was there. But I remember I had the, it is so crazy. I look at everything and I have the DVD, like, I've been like I got the CDs later, the albums later, after I had it's a DVD of Electric Ladyland breaking down every song on the album. Every song on the album is breaking it down. And then he's in the studio with the actual engineer of that album, and he's like reminiscing with the engineer. I forget his name is something Grammar or something, I believe the guy's name is. And that's the crazy thing is, it just seemed like, oh, I miss him so much. I'm like, now, like, I didn't know at the time, but now looking at him, I'm like, it just was so weird. I'm like, he had that hat, I think that sailor hat, you know, the sailors. Now when I think about it, I think about the Manchurian Candidate. The Manchurian Candidate had something to do with the military. They had him under hypnosis. That was the original. I didn't get to see the first one, but I heard that was a one with what's his name? With Frank Sinatra in the first one. And then the second one, it was one with Denzel Washington in it. You know, where he had pulled the chip out. And so same thing, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna get that second version. I'm gonna get to the next one. Then I'm gonna pause it right now and get right to it, because I don't want to waste any time. Like what Stevie Wonder say, I don't want to bore you. All right.
It's working for about a week or two to get all these things together. So like, the words might be here or there, might not be right, but what the hell, you know, we're still here together anyway. But it's all for the idea of having fun. It's working for about a week or two to get all these things together. So like, the words might be here or there, might not be right, but what the hell, you know, we're still here together anyway. But it's all for the idea of having fun. Or having fun. When you do slow blues, it's still in the key of, let's see. Yeah, right. But it's all for the idea of having fun. Or having fun. When you do slow blues, it's still in the key of, let's see. Yeah, right. It's working for about a week or two to get all these things together. So like, the words might be here or there, might not be right, but what the hell, you know, we're still here together anyway. But it's all for the idea of having fun. Or having fun. When you do slow blues, it's still in the key of, let's see. Yeah, right.
Okay. So if you hear that, I played that part over and over again. I'm having fun. You know, we're just having fun. So when he does, I seen that on the I think that's the JIMI it's the Clavitt show, I believe. You can find it on YouTube when he's speaking. He changed that voice. He was like, he said something to him. He replied back to him. And he changed into that voice. So that was like in what, 1970. Then he asked him about the national anthem. He said it was strange, a strange one. Look at there. Speed limit, 70 miles an hour. But yeah, he was saying how if you watch and listen, on that show, he's actually Buddy Miles. He's playing drums. He actually has 2 songs he's singing. So I'm not trying to make anything out of anything. This was given to me by you know, I have a slight connection with him. He helped me through some spiritual stuff to see something, and I went through it, and it has made sense. So I'm here today, you know what I'm saying? So everything makes sense. But yeah, all I want to say, I'm not trying to just to be like, oh, it's because of this and that. I mean, everything lines up. Why was not Buddy Miles there at Woodstock? Think about that. Why was Buddy Miles not there? Maybe Jimmy, he shook out of this shit and said, you know what? I don't want you around anymore. But Billy Cox was there. He known Billy Cox a lot longer than he known Buddy Miles. So you gotta think about that too, also. So that's you gotta think about it. Put that all in perspective, and you come up with your own from the facts that I bring to the table. This is tough. It's tough, you know what I'm saying? Because he's always saying, oh, I miss him and I love him. I wish he would be this and that and this. I said, nah, maybe you really, you know what I'm saying? You really didn't. You probably just wish he would have stayed in line. Because truth be told, Jimmy had a plan. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else besides that. That's all I will say. But peace to the Hendrix family. Is no disrespect by playing that portion of him talking. I gotta get this truth out because he's told me to get this truth out. He said, hey man, this is what I want you to get out for me. If I want this to get out. 16 just passed. Balance. We're in the year of 2020. That's balance, my eye. So he said, hey, this is balance. All I'm putting out, I'm not putting out any of his songs. All I'm putting out something that Jimmy wanted me to put out. So it could be something bigger because I remember Jimmy was in the military with Billy Cox too also. So you know what I'm saying. So they were very close. But yeah, peace and Ashe.